Hello guys, my name is Adesh Kanappan and welcome back to Unit 2 of Profit Quest, Employment and Income. Hello guys, my name is Adesh Kanappan and welcome back to Profit Quest, Unit 2, Employment and Income. Last time we talked about the importance of income, Hello guys, welcome back to Profit Quest. My name is Adesh Kanappan and today we're going to be finishing Unit 2, Employment and Income. So last time we expanded on the importance of employment. We also talked about why someone should or shouldn't go to college depending on their personal life. And we ended up upon how to choose a career. So how someone would take aspects of their own personal life and thoughts and factor that towards choosing a career to end their life upon. Today we're going to be expanding a little bit on tax. Now, our income is taxed, and most sources of income are taxed, except in certain special cases when the source of income is a gift or other similar instances. Now, there are certain factors that affect our personal taxes, which could increase or decrease the amount of tax that we pay on something. So first, our income level has a strong role in how much we pay in tax, how much of percent of our income we pay in tax. So, for example, if you make a certain amount of money, or if your household makes a certain amount of money, you might get taxed more than someone that makes less than you. For example, a household that makes more than, say, $100,000 would get taxed on income at a higher rate than a household that makes about $50,000. Now, you can get deductions or lower the rate of taxing on your income based on certain factors. So tax deductions are just one type of way you can reduce the amount of income that's taxed. And what happens in tax deduction is, say you made a business expense or you took a student loan and you're paying that back, or something that was related to business or student loans or anything, you could get a significantly reduced tax rate or maybe even an untaxed rate on the expenses that you paid for this item or service or whatever. So say you were buying a car to work for your business and solely towards your business, you can file that as a business expense and the tax would be reduced or free of tax. Now, additionally, you could get tax credits based upon certain aspects of your personal life. So say you were a senior citizen or an army and a military soldier, or that's just for Kentucky. This is just one example. If you are above a certain age or you fought in the military, you could get credits to reduce the amount of taxable income that you make, increasing the amount of income that you make. Now, tax also is affected by your filing status. So, say you live alone. That means your income would be taxed less than someone who lives with a family or with a wife. And the 5 types of taxable income statuses are single, head of household, which means you pay more than half of the upkeep of the house, married with a child, married without a child, and filing separately. So let's say you are filing your taxes with your wife, but both of you are filing separately due to some personal reason. that could be taxed at a different rate than if you were filing together with a child or together without a child. And dependents are the people that depend upon you to generate a source of income. So, for example, eligible children or maybe even senior citizens could depend upon the head of household to gain a higher source of income, and as a result, you would get less taxable income, or in other words, more money. So, there are other factors that do not correlate to your personal life that affect your taxes on a national scale. So, everyone's taxes in the country you're living in, which is probably America. So, economic conditions in your country. If your country is going through a growth, which means the financial status is increasing favorably, then the taxes placed upon your income might be less, as the government doesn't need that much money from you to grow, as they're already growing, right? But then if your country is going through a recession, so the amount of money that your government is making is going down and down, and it's not looking good for your government. They might need more money, and as a result, might increase tax rates. So recessions have happened in the past, and they've increased tax rates so astronomically high that some people couldn't even afford to live in their own house or had to quit their job because of how little money they were making from it. Government policies may also play into the amount of taxable income that you and your people make. So, a fiscal policy is how the money made by the government from your taxes or from your income affect the things on the overall scale. So, for example, if the government was leading a campaign on reducing the amount of homeless in the country, they could increase your taxes to allow for more money to go towards that specific policy or that specific movement to ultimately successfully decrease the amount of homeless people in your country. Now, tax legislation is the process by which a proposed tax rule or tax change may become law in the United States. So, using the homeless example from before, if the government decides to make that a federal law, then that means it is illegal to not pay those taxes, and as a result, you would be defying law if you did not pay those taxes, those increased taxes that go towards the specific movement. Finally, demographic trends might increase or decrease the amount of tax that is placed upon the incomes all around a nation. If your country has more people in the population, whether or not they were born there, as long as they're generating income, then they have more sources of income to get taxes from and might be able to reduce the tax and still maintain the same amount of tax income that they were making before so many people came into the country. But if your country is going through a population decline, then the government might increase taxes to match how much money they were making from taxes before your population was going on a decline. So it's not just your personal choices or your personal life that affect the amount of tax that you make, but also how the nation is making movements and how the people in your nation are moving in and out. So thank you guys. That was the end of Unit 2. I know it was a short unit. The next unit, Unit 3, or we hope to see you in the next unit, Unit 3. Thank you. My name was Adesh Kanapan.